Okay. So, welcome everyone to this webinar about Fontys University of Applied Sciences. This webinar will be about the bachelor program ICT and Technology. My name is 𝗬𝗓𝗓. I'm senior lecturer at Fontys ICT department, and I will guide you today through this webinar. Let me first introduce you to the presenters. That will be the teachers, Mrs. Renata Franken and Mr. 𝗪𝗕𝗢. And hopefully we also will be assisted by one of our students in this program, Martin Kyriakov, and also my colleague, Mrs. 𝗹𝗲𝗿𝗍. She will take part in this webinar as well, and she will be more focusing on the chat. And that immediately brings me to the chat. Please, whenever you have questions during the presentations, ask them in the chat. We are more than happy to answer them for you. When the presentation is over, so that will be about the content of the ICT and Technology program, but also what you can expect from it, what your job perspectives are. After the presentation, we have a live Q&A. And there you can also ask all your questions to practical matters. Think of application, fees, student housing, etc. Okay, that's for now pretty all. I now want to give the floor to Renata and to Jaap. I think first, Renata, you will start.
I think Jaap is going to start.
Okay, Jaap, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Leo, for the introduction. So maybe as an extra, my name is 𝗪𝗓𝗢. I'm also a lecturer at Fontys. I've been working at Fontys for 5 years now, and I work as a coordinator for the semester 2 technology profile. So we're going to talk a little bit today about the technology profile, and I'll try to explain to you what it is about, what your job opportunities are, and what you can expect when you come to study. If you have questions in the meantime, you can put them in the chat. The other participants will try to answer. Next, please. Yes. So the first question I thought would be good to answer is, why would you choose embedded systems or technology? Next. Yeah, next, please. So when we look at the technology, embedded systems, it's a very interesting field because it's a multidisciplinary field. You're working with different people in the technology sector. You're working with software engineers. You're working with hardware engineers. You're working with production designers, PCB designers, all sorts of engineers to actually produce a product. So you have a key role in device development. So your job is at the center of a physical machine. For example, a car. You may actually control the way that the car drives, or when it stops, or when it accelerates. Another thing is there are excellent job opportunities. There's a shortage on the labor market for embedded software engineers or technology engineers. So your job prospects are very, very good. And last but not least, it's also a very challenging and interesting study to do. All right. Next, please. So, for example, when we look at one of if you look at an example of a machine or device that has a lot of embedded software in it, you can think of a self-driving car, for example. And if we look on the right, there's more or less an overview of all the software that's involved and different fields that work on that software. So the car is built up. If we look at the bottom, the car is built up from car control systems like motors and sensors and steering wheel and all mechanical things. And these are driven by electrical devices, and those are built by an electrical engineer. If we look at the top, The actual self-driving part of the car is usually done by software engineers in the artificial intelligence field. But you, if you study technology or embedded engineering, you're right there in the middle. So you'll take the decisions that the artificial intelligence software makes. You'll take those decisions and send them off to the devices into the car to, for example, tell the car to go left, to brake, go right. So you're right there at the center. Yes, next, please. That's you, that's right. Coming to study here, I wanted to take you a little bit through what you can expect for the courses that you'll get. Please, next. Yeah, so it starts from the bottom. If you look at the first semester, we can understand that perhaps you're not completely sure yet what you would like to do. You may be aware that at Fontys we offer 5 different profiles. Just to name them: software engineering, technology, infrastructure, media design, and business. You've chosen actually to join the technology webinar. But should you think that you, after about half a semester of study, you're unsure, you can still switch to software engineering or perhaps infrastructure. And then, of course, we hope that you do choose technology. There's a second half of the semester where we go more in depth on the basics or the foundations of embedded software engineering or technology. Yes. So then, after the first half of the semester, after the first semester, first half of the year, the program continues into a second semester where, if you choose technology, you'll get more in-depth studies about the different aspects of the things that you'll do in your job later on. And embedded systems is one of them, where you'll work with Arduinos. You'll learn how to control different devices and sensors, such as simple sensors at the beginning, such as temperature sensor, or perhaps an acceleration sensor, an accelerometer. But also how to take the information out and send them off to a computer, a Windows program. And that making that Windows program, you'll learn in programming in C# and perhaps in programming in C. So all these things, you see there's a lot of focus on programming, because obviously it's an ICT programming course. And those 3 subjects or topics, they support you in doing an industry project. So what we value at Fontys is that we'd like you to work with actual companies, we call them partners in education, who provide us with projects that our students can work on. So right there in semester 2, you'll actually do a project with a real company and a real problem. And they'll come and help us and support. They have workshops they come and give us. And the subject that will teach you help you actually finish the project. So moving on from semester 2, there's semester 3. Oh, sorry, after first year, semester 2, after the first year, there's a so-called *𝗬𝗎 phase. If you finish that, we think you're well suited to continue on with your studies. In the second year, then you'll move into semester 3, which Renate will explain a little bit more in detail later. Again, we continue with software development, embedded systems, and another project, and more things about communication and networks. Then in semester 4, there's a specialization. There are actually more specializations here than mentioned. There's, for example, cybersecurity, there's artificial intelligence, there's which other ones do we have? Let me double check. I have my notes right here.
Game design.
Yeah, game design, smart mobile, and creative technology. Thank you, Renate. But the technology specialization is smart industries. All right, next, please. So then a bit further on in semester 5, there's an internship. There's another semester where you'll learn more in depth about technology. We call it a research-based semester, but it's still in development. There's more about, in semester 7, you can do a minor or more in depth on smart industries. And finally, in semester 8, your graduation. Okay, next, please. Next, please. Yeah, next, please. Yeah, so maybe just an interlude here. Some interesting facts about Fontys. Well, we really hope you come study here, and we think you will feel at home fairly quickly because we actually have many nationalities in the English stream. Both the teachers and the students. For example, obviously there are people from the Netherlands, but people from East Europe, but also Asia and Americas. Lots of different cultures yeah, at the ICT studies. Next, please. Now, a little bit more about actually the upcoming semester, semester 1 technology. Some examples of the things that you'll do. In semester 1, we work with Arduinos for the technology profile, where you'll learn how to program the basics. As you can see on the right-hand side, there's a so-called shield, and the shield has the basic sensors and actuators such as LEDs, buttons, a display. There's a temperature sensor on there and a light sensor. And that's what you learn how to program and how to access them and how to get information out or send information to those devices. As an example of assignments that you'll do with this, with the Arduino here, next please, is at first you'll build a calculator, so a simple calculator that can do addition and subtraction, multiplication and division. Then the next assignment is about a safe. In this case, you can think about a hotel safe. If you've ever been to a hotel, there's a small, or maybe a swimming pool, there's a small locker there with an electronic code. You'll enter the code, lock the door, and then when you get back, you enter the code and the door opens. And we'll program that using the Arduino with the shield. And finally, also an assignment where we simulate a car dashboard. So a simple car where you can turn left and right, and then the blinkers, the signal lights go on, and you can steer, and it turns left and the signal lights turn off. And so we have assignments that are actually really practical and very real simulations of real-world practical applications. All right, moving on to semester 2. Next, please. In semester 2, we'll do lots more programming. There's programming in C and programming in C#, object-oriented programming. We'll learn more about communication between different devices. You learn a little bit about electrical concepts. Maybe you've already learned a little bit about it, such as what is voltage and what is amperes. We'll look more in depth on a microcontroller fundamentals. So how does it actually work on the inside and how do you program it directly? And a project with a partner company, as I explained. All right. Yes, I think I'll give over the word to Renata.
Okay. Hi, my name is Renata Franken. I'm also a foreign teacher. I'm from Slovakia, but living in the Netherlands for about 25 years. I am the leader of semester 3 technology, and I also do a lot of work in smart industry semester, so I will give you a little overview about that. Semester 3. In semester 3, we still do, of course, embedded systems, like we did before in semester 2. But now we also go and program it a little bit more low level. So we don't use only Arduino, we used also different microcontrollers, especially STM32. And we do programming on the low level. Another part is communication. Because of course it's very nice to have all these devices, but it's becoming even more interesting when they start to communicate. So I just added a few of the pictures of how we are trying to connect different things. You can see a robot or machines or whatever. There are a lot of stuff to join and to put together, and also our students really enjoy to do this. And of course, because we are still software people, I always say that technology is software plus. So we do a lot of software. We do C and C++. this software design course is not only about programming, but also about correct programming, about writing good tests, about creating nice designs, and so on and so on. So that is in a short what's in semester 3. Then we just skip very quickly to semester 6, because semester 6 is actually also technology semester. And as Jaap already said, this one is being developed. So what you see here, it's going to change a little bit, and we don't know yet exactly how. But what I know, you are going to work on a lot of projects, also on distributed embedded systems. And there is a lot of freedom to choose what kind of projects you do, and you cooperate really a lot with the companies to do that. Then we are at the minor embedded systems. So Jaap told you that smart industry is really a nice minor for students to do. But we have actually 2 really technical minors. You can choose any minor you want, but most of the technology students choose either embedded systems, and we hope in the future also smart industry, which I will talk about in a moment. Minor embedded systems, there are 3 big topics. One of them is robotics, and looking at how to put, how to program different kind of robots. You can see also on the left side our team, which is also taking part in RoboCup. So Fontys have own team, and you can really create this nice robot. By the way, these robots are also used by Technical University Eindhoven, which are champions, the world champions of RoboCup, and we cooperate with them a lot, and it's really nice to do. And we have also sensor networks, so you learn a lot about XP and these kind of things, how to put sensors together. And now about specialization, and so that's something you can do in the 4th semester, but also in the 7th semester, and it's called Smart Industry. It's a pretty new specialization, and we as technology team are really happy to have it. So our students, most of the technology class actually go into this specialization, we noticed. And it's a very nice multidisciplinary specialization. What you do is actually you are doing a digitalization of the factories. So imagine you have a factory and you have a lot of machines working together, and yeah, they are now able to exchange data, and we can do a lot of smart things with that. There are 5 big topics to do. The first of them is the business part, so probably you already remember. So we had these 5 profiles: business, software, technology, infrastructure, and media. So the intelligent management is actually especially for the business students which take part on this, to create a good business way how to use digitalization of the factories. Then we do a lot of data analytics with machine learning and data. And of course, we go back to Internet of Things, and we go much more deeper in how to connect different devices in the factory together with Bluetooth or LoRa or any other fancy Internet of Things protocols. We have a part of human-machine interface, so you can see the guy on the picture who is actually needing to have a really good dashboard. So we have also media people, and we have machine-to-machine communication. In that part, you are learning not only about the embedded systems, but also about PLCs and about feedback control systems and this kind of thing. And all these things are put together, and we create a nice big team. Then we have a part, I don't know if you have the demo and if you can share the screen up, so we are going to skip this one. And finally, I don't know if we have this on the sheet. In the 8th semester, of course, you are going to graduate, so you can choose to work, to go for a traineeship to any company. And maybe, as already Jaap told you, there are really lots of companies waiting for technology students, and I talked to a few of the companies. I heard like Van der Lande, which is a very nice company. They need 700 people, Siux, which we work with together, they mean really hundreds of people. So there is a big demand for technology students, also for other students, but also for technology. So let's go to the question and answers, and I hope you have a lot of questions, because I'm going out of the screen. I can hopefully to see you now.
Yeah, I see the first questions coming in from Nathan. Thank you, Nathan. He's asking how much time will be dedicated to programming in C and C#. It depends a bit on the semester, but if we look at programming in general, either C, C# or C++ or any other language, you can expect to spend at least half your time on programming. So that would be, what would that be, 20 hours a week on programming?
Yeah, actually, I think C is about 1.5 semester. And it's not only when you learn programming, but you apply it in the higher semester, so you keep on programming. Yeah.
Yes. So at some point, we don't teach as much programming anymore, but we just expect you to deliver software.
Maybe a question related to this. What qualities do you think a technology student should have to be successful in this study program?
Well, like any other profile, I would say dedication, and taking an interest in controlling or sensing the real world outside of a computer screen.
Yeah, but to be very concrete, for example, does a student be very good at mathematics, for example?
No. But usually, if you're good in mathematics, you also are better in programming in general, anyway. But we don't expect a lot of math.
It certainly helps to have some math skills, but if you are analytical, that would certainly help. Yes. Nathan is asking what types of assignments will be assigned during the course. Yeah, maybe that's actually a good one to answer. Maybe let me make that a bit broader. If you look at the program that we teach, the emphasis is a lot on doing assignments and less on doing paper exams. So there you will get a lot of assignments, and for a semester, which is about 20 weeks, for each of the courses, you can probably expect 3 to 4 assignments. And so if there are 3 to 4 courses, that's about 10 to 12 assignments per semester. But you can expect to be working on something every week. Yeah. And the types of assignments, the types of assignments varies a lot on the course. So for a programming course, you'll have to make a small application, perhaps make the safe, as I explained before, or maybe control a fan or something like this, or maybe do something with feedback. But if you look at another course, a project, for example, you may be writing documentation about how your product works, or how it is set up, or how it must be installed, etc. So it varies a lot.
There was another question that disappeared.
Yeah,
but he's still writing.
Okay. But also don't forget, we do a lot of projects, and maybe it's interesting to say that that we do a lot in groups. So we are doing a lot of work in the groups, and the more you go to higher semester, the more you work also with companies together. So
I cannot pronounce your name because I don't read Cyrillic, but somebody is asking, are we expected to have some sort of background in programming in C or C#?
No.
No, you don't have to have any experience. We will take you right from the beginning. However, it does help a little bit. So if you don't have any experience, you can still, you have to work a little bit and try not to fall behind, because otherwise it will be hard, because the pace will be fairly fast for you, but it is not required.
Is there a way that you support students who are somewhat lagging behind?
Well, I do support them a lot. They send me apps all the time, so I'm trying to help them. So that's
maybe here's another good example to explain about how we do grading in at Fontys here. So the way we look at your assignments is we grade your assignments, but what we look at is your progress throughout the semester. So maybe at the beginning you have some issues getting started. Perhaps you're a bit slow. And maybe you flunked or you missed the first assignment and you received like an insufficient. But if you then catch up and with the help of the teacher or with the help of fellow classmates, you may catch up and then maybe do get a sufficient, and later you even get a good. You might even end up with a good. So we don't generally average out your marks. We look at all the things you have to show or demonstrate to us, or we call them learning outcomes, so all the things that we'd like you to learn this semester. And if you demonstrate them throughout the semester, then maybe you didn't do that in the first couple of weeks, but later on, if you do, then you may still get a good results. Yeah. Let's see, there's more questions.
I see there is something about how similar is ICT and technology to ICT and the other orientations. So, well, let's start with software. So we do a lot of programming like software does, but I guess the difference is, I think that software is more to writing applications and to writing application software, and there is a lot of Java. And we are more writing really software for embedded systems and using more C and C++. If I compare our education to infrastructure, we have quite some part of infrastructure, so we do a lot of networking and communication. But of course, if you go to infrastructure, you learn more about how to design good infrastructure for a company or something like that, so cloud and all these things. If you look to media, there is, I think, not a lot of similarity between us and media, and the last one, business, I think also not so much. So maybe correct me if I'm wrong, yeah, if I forgot something, but
no, I think you're quite right, and I think it also depends a little bit on what kind of business environment you would like to, what kind of company you would like to work at later. If you like to work, let's say in like business process automation, then maybe software engineering is a better choice for you. But if you do like to work more with hardware and machines, devices, then technology is something for you. And perhaps you like being creative a bit more, then you should do media. So of course, you should choose a profession that you enjoy doing, but also consider where you want to work later.
There is a question for what more can you do in low-level programming languages? Well, I just think that you are much closer to hardware, which is very important for embedded systems. I think things like interrupts, registers, and timers, and these kind of things, they have better support in low-level languages. But still, C and C++ are officially high-level languages, so we don't do any assembler and these kind of things. Don't worry. And you also have to look at the way that embedded systems are mostly programmed in C and C++. So if you take over library of software from somebody else, it's just in C and C++, because that's the main language of embedded systems. So.
Yeah, you're very right, Renata, there, that's correct. From my perspective, I would say that in a low-level programming languages like C, you can do anything that the machine or the hardware allows you to do. And that's very nice, because that means you can make the most out of what is in the device or in the machine. You can control every single aspect of it. But Java and C# much less so. It's much more constrained.
Okay.
Our class presentations and regularity. Yes. So we do have lessons and workshops, and if you're in course-based, which we are from, then there are regular classes. So maybe the mix between classes and workshops and let's say practicals, probably, what would I say, 30, 40, no, 20, 40, 40 maybe. So 20, 25% working on in a lesson, and then the rest is either a workshop or working on an assignment. All right. More questions from people?
By the way, there were good questions. I like them.
Yes, very good questions. Keep them coming.
Okay, then I will ask another one. What type of master programs would you advise, or are, let's say, common for students who graduated in technology?
I guess embedded systems on the Technical University Eindhoven, but I can imagine they can also just do computer science. Definitely embedded systems, but I think they can do computer science too. So
correct.
Okay, thank you. Let me think. Yeah, there is another question coming in. Can we choose robotics as our minor?
Actually, the embedded systems and robotics minor that I've shown you, it's mostly about robotics. And the higher you go, the higher you can choose what you like to do. So if you go to this minor and you really like to do robotics, then you choose projects mostly in robotics. So you can really choose your path in the higher semesters. Yeah.
This robotics minor is offered at engineering department, if I'm not wrong.
No, this is ours.
Okay. Yeah.
And you can, of course, you can do on Mechatronica, you can probably do something with robots, but it's really more, more hardware. Yeah, so we are, software based.
Maybe some extra information. Indeed, minor program. Most students do a minor program, which is one semester linked to their major. Yeah, for example, robotics for technology students, cybersecurity for infrastructure student. But it's also an option that you as a student can choose a minor that's completely not linked to your major. That's also an option. And you can do it at Fontys, you can do it at other universities in the Netherlands and even abroad.
Okay, thank you, Leo. I see there's another question from MP. He or she is saying, is this orientation linked to electronics and electricity as well? If you by orientation mean semester 1, then no, there's no electronics or anything about electricity. We try to introduce to you what embedded software engineering is about, because it's still software engineering. However, you do have to understand a little bit about your surrounding environment. So there is something about electronics and electricity in the second semester, where you learn a little bit about how the signals go, what they mean, how to measure them, and how to analyze them.
But it's really just the basics.
It's the basics.
More software education.
Yeah, that's right. It's the basics. It's actually, if you probably, it goes just a little bit further than high school electronics. You probably learned about resistors and things in high school, and we'll do that again. We'll review that. Okay. Good question.
Okay, so yeah, so we still have some time. So if there are students who have questions about practical matters, so application procedures, requirements, housing for students, social life activities, we have a student association, Proxy, who's taking care of that. But if you have more questions related to this, please let us know. And as what Elga already mentioned, of course, when you have questions after the webinar, you can always send them to us. And if it's content related, we will send them to Renata and to Jaap. But all other questions can be answered by ourselves, but then please send them to campuseindhoven@fontys.nl. And Elga already mentioned the email somewhere in the chat. Yes, there it is again. By the way, as what you already mentioned, Fontys Campus Eindhoven is located in the middle of Brainport region, which is a very top flight technology region in Europe, sometimes compared to Silicon Valley in the United States, but then not for companies like Google or whatever, but or Facebook, but more for companies like Philips, ASML, yeah, and what Jaap already mentioned. For that reason, technology students, graduates are in high demand because there are jobs, plenty of jobs available in this field. So whenever you want to know more about Brainport, Elga already put a link in the chat. But especially for ICT and engineering student, I would say this is the place to be. Yeah, because we have all these links with our partners in education. They provide us with very actual assignments. And for you, of course, as a student, while doing your internship or your graduation internship, you can easily find assignments with one of the companies. And of course, it's also possible to do your internships in other parts of the Netherlands or even abroad or in your home country. As long as the assignment has good level, that's normally not a problem. So the link between Fontys, Brainport, and of course, that's a great place to be for every IT and engineering student.
Yeah.
I think Elga already put some information in the chat about student accommodation, which is of course very important. You can make your application in studylink.nl. That's the system we use in the Netherlands for making registrations for bachelor and master programs at universities. But always take care also of your student accommodation. And Fontys can help you with this, but you need to apply for it. So take care of it well in advance, because you can have a program, but if you don't have a place to live, you won't stay for long. Let me see, is there more coming in? Yeah, indeed, what Jaap says, in fact, all our ICT programs have 2 intakes. In September, that's the main intake. So normally we have around 400 international students for September intake, and for February intake, it's around 60 to 70 students who start the program then. So for some students, that's quite convenient.
Maybe now somebody asked how many students are enrolled in the university. Do you know the number?
Yeah, so Fontys University in total has around 40,000 students, but of course we have several campuses. Here at Fontys ICT, at the back behind me, you see a picture of our building. So only for ICT programs and a little bit for physiotherapy. And I think we have around, so in total with all the associate degree students, full-time students, part-time students, international, national, I think it's around 3,000 students at ICT only.
Yeah.
We are a big department, but we have a very personal approach. And I think you already informed us a little bit about that.
There's a question about participating in sports.
Yes, so together with the University of Technology, we share a huge sporting center. So 24/7, you can make use of it. I think they offer more than 70 different sports, including a swimming pool. And I think it's around €95 per year. And then you can make use of all facilities 24/7. Indeed, a lot of students make use of this.
There's 50 to 100 students. That's right. Maybe good to mention though that if you start in the semester, you will be in an intake of roughly 400 or 500 students. So yeah. But we do have small classes.
Yeah, exactly. So these students will be divided over classes, yes.
Yeah, we may have 400, 500 students each intake, but the classes are about 25 students each. So it's still very personal, as Leo was saying.
Yeah, I would say personal approach is one of our characteristics. Also, all students are appointed what we call a coach or a mentor. That's a teacher, so who helps the students in his or her study progress, especially in the first and second semester. This is very essential because when we understand as an international student, you have to find your way, not only in your study program, but also in your social life. And some students have some problems with this. And of course, if we can help you, then we are more than willing to do this.
And I think also, Leo, that there is some study-verenigings, the study union that helps students too.
Yeah, so as I already mentioned, we have a student association. It's made by students. It's called 𝗵𝗿𝗢 for our international students at ICT department. And they take care of all kinds of social events, but also educational events, workshops at companies, for example, they organize. So I always advise students become a member of 𝗵𝗿𝗢. You know, there are no fees involved, whatever, but they have nice activities also to feel more comfortable. Because it's quite common that each international student has to go through a kind of culture shock graph, more or less. And yeah, these activities can help a lot to overcome an issue like culture shock.
Yeah, there's a question from Yasmina, I see, about what are the differences between mechatronics and robotics. Probably say that robotics is like a subset of mechatronics. Mechatronics is just the engineering integration of electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, and software engineering. And robots do exactly that, but it focuses typically on robot applications. But mechatronics could also be something as simple as a car, but a car is not a robot.
Yes, but we also offer a mechatronics program completely in English, but that's not at ICT, but at engineering department, which is of course also in campus Eindhoven. Let me see, Alga is still writing some extra information about the physical event, which will be organized on the 27th of November. Yeah, we are living in COVID-19 era, so when it's possible, of course, you are more than welcome to visit us, but then you have to take care of all regulations, vaccinations, etc. But you're more than welcome. Maybe especially for the students who are already residing in the Netherlands right now. So on Saturday, 27th of November, between 10 and 1700 hours, you can visit us during the open day organized at the campus.
Yes, actually, we do have a mix of online and campus, but it's mostly in the higher years. So, so the higher you go, the more there will be also the participation of online education. But it's not like online or campus, it's really mixed, so it's together. So for example, in my semester, semester 3, we have 2.5 days on site and 2.5 days is at home online. Actually.
Yeah, but just for semester 1 and semester 2, we, unless government regulations force us to do different, semester 1 and semester 2 are always on campus.
Yeah. So that's what I said. The higher semesters are.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Just adding to
so
that.
that's that they know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're approaching the end of this webinar. Is there something very important you still have to mention, Renata or Jaap? A tap on the shoulder or some parental
I really hope you will come. We we look forward to see you at the technology. I hope that you take the challenge because, as I said, it's a sort of software plus. It's quite challenging, but it's also really satisfying. That's what I see in my students. That once they really find a solution, an integration of hardware and software, that they are really satisfied. That they enjoy. Actually, that's nice to see.
Yes, we definitely hope to welcome you here, and I think if you do come, you'll find it a pleasant study experience and a very pleasant place to live.
Yeah.
Okay, so if there are no more burning issues, I would say thanks a lot to Renata and Jaap for your contribution, and of course our visitors. Hopefully we have given you some good information so that you can really make a good choice for, let's say, for what study program that suits you best here at Fontys or whatever university, because that's very important. So really prepare. What are your interests? What are your capacities? What are your passions? And all this together hopefully brings you to a study program that suits you best. Yeah? We always think it's very annoying for students when they start a program and then after some time they come to the conclusion, oh my God, I don't understand why I have chosen this program because I don't like it at all. So be well prepared and don't forget, whenever you are a student here with us, hopefully within 4 years you graduate and then you find a job in industry or whatever, and probably you have to work in this field for more than 40 years. So your choice should be well documented, well founded, so that this choice will really be valid for a good job and that you are feeling well in this job or in this field, I should say, and that you are successful in it. That's, of course, what we want. Also, thanks to Elga, who has put all kind of information in the chat. Elga, I think you all also indicated that we have some more webinars this week going on. Tomorrow we have infrastructure and media design, if I'm not wrong, and on Thursday we have the general presentation again about also our learning modes. Jaap already mentioned briefly course-based, demand-based, open learning. So that will be discussed again on Thursday. So feel free to take part so that you know, as what I mentioned, a lot about the programs we offer and the way we offer it to you. I think Elga is putting the overview in the chat right now, so maybe let's wait for that. A few more seconds. Okay, yeah, and if you want to do the registration, go to our website, take the tab Meet Us, and there you can simply make your registration. So for now, I'm saying goodbye, wish you a nice evening, and maybe we'll meet again sometime, someplace here in Eindhoven. So I'm saying goodbye now.
Goodbye.
See you.
Back. Yeah.
Nou, het ging toch goed, hè? Ja, Renate. Goeie vragen. Dus
ja, goede vragen.
zet hem.
De recording op stoppen, denk ik. Niet dat zo.